Great.
Yeah.
So,
Call to order. Regular board meeting of the West Valley School District, August 12th, 2026. I'd ask Stephanie to please read the call to order.
citizens may comment on items appearing on the agenda when invited to participate during that agenda item by the board chair. Citizens may comment on items related to school district business not appearing on this agenda during the public comment portion of the meeting. Citizens, after identifying themselves, will proceed to make comments as briefly as the subject permits. Basic rules of decorum are in effect at all times. The chairperson may interrupt or terminate an individual statement when appropriate, including when statements are out of order, too lengthy, breach personal privacy rights, abusive, obscene, irrelevant, or otherwise improper. The public should realize that this is a trustee business meeting conducted in a public forum.
Thank you. Okay, go for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will go on to the consent agenda. Yeah, if you've got it in front of you on your computer, I think we made that switch from
Yes.
25 to 26. It should be 26, 27 under the out of district attendance agreements. I think that
So if you pull up that list, it's the 26, 27 list.
not that 25, 26.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. We will go on to correspondence, guest, public participation. I don't see anybody here. So it looks like we can go on to informational recognitions and reports. West Valley PTO report. Don't see anybody. Thank you. Don't see anybody here for that. The teachers organization report. Anybody here for that? Okay. And I think we have the principal's report and we're gonna make that at the next meeting, right? Yeah, that's good. Okay, so who's ready for principal's report?
Great.
So we'll go to September for that one. And then the superintendent's report.
Yeah, so I just wanted to give a huge shout out to the maintenance team. This summer, they've done an incredible job just with everything that they've had on their plates and what they do. So really big kudos to them, and big shout out to Marcus for all the stuff he's working on with the cameras and tech and getting us ready to go. Principals have worked a ton over the summer. So it's really proud to be a part of a team that good. Obviously you can see in the parking lot, we were able to reseal the main lot and the bus area. So that's all good to go and painted. Bill,
Were there any changes to that, Richard?
No changes to it, just resealed it. We do a cycle where we do the main lot bus 1 year and then we do the side lot playground. So it's not so expensive in 1 year. So
Same system, traffic, etc.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a separate thing. This is just the surface and then repainted the lines. So same system now. Yeah.
Didn't know if that impacted it.
No, it didn't, no. And the Phil and Tony and everybody built a new office in the lower commons. If you get a chance, go down there and take a look at it. It's pretty cool. Phil was able to install a study bar on it that's elevated so kids can go out there and work on some things too. Because they used to use it a lot not a lot, but for kids to go out and do some independent work on the stairs. We recoated both the small gym and the big gym floors. I think they're ready to go. I think their set time is coming up here that people can walk on it now and get in there and use it. Bill installed 3 pressure tanks for our water pressure system. So they went out and we have 6 total, I believe. And so he was able to replace 3 of them that hadn't been replaced in as long as he's been here. So, and 25 years or something. We did remove some carpet in room B12 down there, and they've got a good system now. They know what they're doing with it. I don't know if you remember before, like last year, it was painfully, it just took tons of time and they were able to do it within a few hours. So, so we're gonna start to do a little bit more of them now, just depending on what the summers look like for them with what they have to do on the other end of it. But that's gonna be a goal for us. We were not able to do the wood chips yet for the elementary playground, but we'll get those in when we can. Apparently, we could not secure the chips we need because they shipped them somewhere else. And so, we're kind of on pause on that, but we have to use a certain type of wood chip, that's a grade for the playgrounds. And otherwise, if we went out and just got other stuff, it'd be prohibitively expensive for us to do that. Wait on that. We leveled out the gravel on the east parking lot. Actually, the county came through for us on that and did that for us in the end, even though they said they weren't going to do that. Phil still has some leveling to do behind the dumpsters. There's still a lot of gravel back there that was in part the reason that so much was kind of seeping into that, what I call West Valley Lake there, when it would get really, really wet with water and stuff. So, and actually Tanya's husband, the county came through for us on that. So he did call, he works for that and called, oh, we gotta do that. So thank you to him too. Yeah, and then we took the flooring out of a couple classrooms off the lunchroom and redid the tile there. So it's a really, really good quality flooring that we will not have to wax. So over time, will save us a ton of money in labor and in materials in the end. So we did A12 and A11, and then next year we plan to do A7, A8, and A9.
Still do that? Phil in the game do that?
Yep, Bill and Tony did that. Yeah, and it's kind of neat because it's noise level reduction material too, so it's not so tinny when you're in there. And then we are still planning to, we haven't been able to get to it yet, to remove the trees behind the dumpster. The electric company did contact us about that because there is a line that goes through those trees. So we do have to do something about those eventually. Bill will either remove them or we're gonna have an arborist do it, just depending on the time that he ends up having. So yeah, so that's kind of a quick rundown of the projects, but definitely took a lot of manpower and effort for that. So.
Heating in the roof?
Yep,
Richard, how did that go?
Heaters were installed and replaced, and the roof was replaced and ready to go. I went up and took a look at them the other day. Cameron took me up there to see them, and they look pretty cool. They're going to be a neat system. They'll communicate with each other. It's going to be in-house here where we can control them and run them, and we don't have to worry about someone at Great Falls monitoring our system. So all in all, it's
what rooms do those do?
that's for the big gym.
Oh, just the big gym only.
Yeah, and they did provide heat to other areas of the building as well. It wasn't just the gym, but they're located right above the building.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. What rooms do they actually provide heat to?
To be honest, Phil would have to tell you on that. But they do cover more than just the large gym.
Yeah.
I know that. So
Yeah, it'll be nice to be able to control in-house, especially if there's like classroom and stuff.
Yeah, I know. It would get pretty frustrating for people because it was like, I kind of like to be able to say, can you please turn up the heat and everything? I don't think we can. So yeah. Other than that, yeah.
Were there any unforeseen problems or pretty much what they thought?
It almost went too smooth, It was like they had it all coordinated with the roofers and the heaters and when things were going in and when the cranes would be here. So they kind of had everything coordinated to a T and worked out really, really well. There was no major issues that came up at all. So there are still some roofing materials up there. So I think we'll call them and say, are you gonna come get these or what should we do? So, but yeah, other than that, it's been pretty good.
And how much of the roof did they do, Richard?
They did the whole big gym.
And haven't had any issues with?
Nope, water. So
Has it rained since they got it on?
yeah, I don't know.
It actually rained the week they were putting it on. I think that was the only thing that may have delayed it like a day or so.
Yeah.
It did rain the day of days.
Yeah. Yep. Got a message one time from someone that was like, Just wanted to give you a heads up, there's a man on the roof wearing a bright neon. I think I know what he's doing.
Usually if they're not up there for a good reason, they're not wearing bright neon.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I wouldn't choose bright neon if I were up on there for something nefarious, but
Well, it's good to get those leaks fixed.
Yeah.
In the gym as well. Are there any other
yeah.
roof issues that you guys?
Not that's 911 yet, but we're gonna start investing some capital in getting some of this preventative maintenance in because it's just been kind of neglected for so long that we don't want problems to just show up all of us. So we're working on a, preventative maintenance type thing, getting like the new flooring stuff in so we can save money in the long term, in the long run.
And I know those heaters, I mean, that was part of that, levy, so because we've been talking about that for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's great that we finally got that
Yep.
done.
It was awesome we were able to get those. So
Alleviates the stress of winter.
yeah, it does.
Get an article in the paper, school has to close because the heaters are broken.
Vice versa. Yeah. And then Marcus, did you want to say anything about what you're doing? I don't know if I gave you enough.
Yeah, just working on cameras and, we'll be doing the network upgrades, next week. As we can pull some new wires and replace a bunch of devices.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it.
All right, thank you.
Did you have an update on the, what your plan is with the parking or the student drop off?
Yeah, so we were able to get into a contract with Cushing Terrell. And once school gets going again in the fall, they've got a plan to come out and analyze our parking situation and help us with the parking lot. They'll also work with a traffic engineer that'll take measurements of the traffic that we see here on this road and in our parking lot. And then what that person will be able to do then is provide recommendations to the state Department of Transportation to maybe like make that a 4-way stop, for example, or maybe add like a see if there's enough like that we can put a turn lane or something like that so cars can go through. So it's a pretty comprehensive study. And we're just kind of waiting for people to get here to do it because you can't do much now. They want numbers for when it gets real busy, like pick up, drop off, and the months where it's steady. They don't want to do like early in the year because they're like people drop off a lot more or people use buses, so they just kind of want to get some good data to make some informed decisions on that. And they're also going to look at possibly adding like concrete structures to certain places for better flow. They did say one of the things we have is like we have so many lanes, and they were looking at possibly maybe we can make it so that there's like a better way to do the lines or something next year. So yeah, it'll be good to get some help with that. We all know it's a huge issue. We get calls about it all the time. People are frustrated and
People know that that study's gonna happen, Richard?
not yet. No, we're gonna put word out to people and tell them that we were able to do that.
How much is that gonna cost us?
It's gonna be, it depends. It's all variable, but it could be as little as like 10,000 or as expensive as we want to go. So depending on how many things we decide for them to keep doing, and once they find more options, and we say, yeah, do that one, but it shouldn't cost more than 20,000. And then of course, like he basically was pretty honest and said, we can make it as expensive as you want it. It'd be pretty good to meet with them again. I've met with them a few times, and they actually did come out and watch some of our pickup one time, which I thought was good of them to do.
Would there be a way for them to film it or anything?
Yeah,
with a
they use
drone or
drones.
anything?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they use drones
Yeah.
and they've got quite a system for that. So, but the Department of Transportation won't do anything unless you pay for a traffic engineer to do the study.
It's probably a good time if, they start on West
Yeah.
Valley Drive to, widen that a little bit.
Yeah.
You could then get into that project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a number of options. So, we just gotta kind of wait for it to happen and see.
And they were talking about maybe like 3 different options for the pickup and drop off that they'll look at, and maybe even like, they even brought up like doing it where the buses are now, like as something to consider.
Yeah,
They're moving the bus traffic to the front.
Yeah, their only issue with the over there was that, like, they'd love to see that as a full way.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do that, because then they didn't want people to get caught, you know, trying to leave and people turn, so they're really considering that a lot, but we can't do anything with that intersection now, so. But I think we could end up seeing something like that eventually, where we put, you know, they might recommend we put drop off there for drivers and then move buses.
I mean, the best way to be would have more kids on buses, I would imagine,
Yeah.
right? And not
Yeah.
cars in the parking.
Yeah. Right.
And we probably should let people know, like, I said, you know, let people know if they see drones flying around.
Yeah.
And they see strange people in our parking lot.
Just staring at them.
And I didn't, and
Well, and they know that we're trying to address the.
that's right, we're trying to work on it too, so.
Yeah.
you know, we should, that might maybe alleviate a few of the phone calls.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe, but it's a good thing to do too. I mean, it's really important that we make it as safe as possible out there. Cause it's, you know, always, the schools are always so hard, you know, cause. There's
Lots of moving parts.
Yeah.
Lots of kids, lots of parents.
Lots of kids, yeah. So, and none of them can drive themselves, yeah, so.
Probably a good thing though, that'd be even scary.
Right.
Well, thanks for looking into that and getting that set up.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
Process for sure. Yeah.
We go on to the action items, the approval of bills, which we have in front of us here, the bills from the summer.
So, June, my goal was to pay as much as we could before the end of the year as needed. You'll notice that the Montana Roof Works was split up because they were only 75% finished. So they billed us for 75% and then we'll pay the next, in this month if or I don't know if I already paid this. Or I don't know if I've gotten the bill from them for those remaining 25, maybe that's why they haven't. I mean, they haven't, or they still have roofing stuff.
Don't give them that roofing stuff.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, so that's why it was a little bit different, a little bit lower than the 80,000. Because we only paid for the 75% that were done. Sure. But other than that, everything just, like I said, finished out the year as best we could.
And we're able to carry over the interlocal pretty good.
Yeah, that's where we really look at to start some of these preventative maintenance. Things like that. So.
I can speak to that a little bit. We were able to carry 453,000 into our interlocal, but 149 of that is earmarked for future curriculum.
Great.
So, and still keep our 20% reserves.
Nice job, guys.
And again, I think it's a big number again, because like last year was a big number because that was the first year of the levy, the 325 levy. And then this year was the first influx of the stars. And so I think that we were conservative in some of that. But we also kept a lot of expenses down. Like we didn't grow from like basically, I mean, we've only grown like maybe 5 or 10% across the board for salary expenses over the last couple of years. You know, as the prices go up, yes, we're paying that, but we haven't increased our budgets too much on that. So we're still pretty tight at like where we were the year that before I was. And so
Yeah,
now
and I know a lot of that had to do with we were wanting to refund the reserves because we had to
Right.
pull from the reserve for
Right.
multiple years. So
Yeah.
is the reserves, did it get?
yeah, again this year. Yeah, we
Yeah.
did last year and it is again
Yeah.
this year. So
When you talk about, you know, maybe being proactive for the roof, that money comes from a separate building fund? Or,
there's both, like we can use it for both. Or I should say, we can use our building reserve money for that, but we could also use some of that general fund money for that. So the general fund money that we're putting in the interlocal has more flexibility to what it can be used for.
Mhm.
Any building reserve money does not have flexibility to be used for anything but building, issues,
Mhm.
so.
And it doesn't seem to be nearly enough to cover all the deferred maintenance.
When I think now we can really start
Yeah.
putting a list together of deferred maintenance and getting realistic quotes and a timeline, because I think we're at a point where we can start getting some of the stuff done that needs to get done.
Well, similar to, I mean, like what happened with the roofing project? The roofing project was bid in a nice timely fashion.
Yeah.
They were
Mhm.
prepared.
Yeah.
They
Right,
weren't chasing contractors who had a lot of work to do
Right.
just yet.
Yeah.
So getting those out in January, February, et cetera. Huge,
Huge.
really important.
And if we can plan deferred maintenance rather than it being an
Right.
emergency situation,
Right.
we'll pay a lot less too.
yes, exactly.
Great job.
Is this heat and electric, was that part of the HVAC?
Yes, yeah, it was work that had to be done,
Mhm.
so. Which I don't think Phil was aware that it was gonna be as much, and he actually did barter it down. It came in a little bit higher.
Oh,
And he did barter it down, because I think there were some things that he actually did. And so, Phil did his best on that one. But that's what we got. Ended up with.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
second,
Is there any further discussion on that? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous. Okay,
I'll excuse myself for the next one. They can talk about me.
okay, we're going on to the human resources personnel. Specifically the coaches.
We've got some classified on there with some paraprofessionals and some extra duty stipends on there for volleyball coaches and football coaches for the upcoming seasons.
Awesome. Jeff's gonna do it.
Yeah.
He told me one time that the Merediths play basketball, not football, but.
I could tell you differently. He was a good football player.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
he's pulling our legs. isn't
He did say that.
Yeah.
I think he remembers, I told my son that, yeah.
Yeah,
Apparently his son decided maybe he liked football too.
yeah, that's good.
do all these positions get the same stipend or is it
The
different?
head coach gets a slightly higher stipend.
Oh, yeah. Mhm. How much do they give?
I can give you a second. I can give you a second. It depends on their years of experience, but I can look that up here. At least I think I can.
It's not, it's not enough.
That's what it is whispering.
No. Yeah,
And we've been assured by the powers that be that there's not gonna be a conflict of interest and somebody's not gonna come back at us and say that we did not have hired a school board member as a football coach. Okay, as long as
Didn't have
he.
many options, it didn't
No,
sound like.
that's right. Well, as long as he doesn't vote on matters that pertain to this.
I'm actually really happy
Well,
that other people stepped up to make it
I
happen.
think it'd be great. Who could ever deny that?
So, oh, sorry.
Be laughing.
So Mark, first year head football coach is $1,500 and $1,518.
A week?
That's cute. And actually the assistant is $1,300. So,
Those are significantly
Different position.
different than KMS.
oh,
Oh,
How do those get set?
What is KMS go my?
It's based on percentage of base, so they're calculated.
yeah, it's a percentage of base, pay, and I think that that's just something that like hasn't been looked at in years, probably.
I think we looked at it because it was all part of the teacher contracts 2 years ago, whenever we did it.
Oh, yeah, we looked at,
It all got adjusted though, too.
oh, yeah, because when the
Whenever we
base
did it,
gets
'cause it's-
adjusted,
Ultimately, it's a stipend for like the teachers, right? Cause
Oh, yeah.
they're doing extra duty, so it was all part of like,
Yeah.
whenever we did all that stuff, we had redone all the stipend stuff too at the same time.
what I meant was that we hadn't compared it to, other districts.
Oh, right.
Is what,
Yeah.
like, maybe that's one thing that we should look at to make sure it's comparable to other districts.
Right, yeah. And then did we get like numbers for like volleyball girls and all that this year?
Did we?
Did we get numbers to know how many
Yes.
girls are gonna play, to know that we have
Yeah,
enough
and I
coaches and
don't
all
know
that?
those numbers offhand, but yes,
Okay.
we did that. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's 2 teams per grade, so.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah. I'll make a motion to approve the human resources and personnel for August 2026.
Second.
Okay, is there any further discussion on that? All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye. Opposed? Here we go, like Jake back in.
Your coach.
He was out there praying, Woody.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, we can hear.
Yeah.
Well, for this year, for now, it
Yep.
looks like we're,
That's what it is.
okay, we'll go on to see the approval of the budget, the biggie.
Okay, so at the beginning of each year, we start with, or I should say at the end of each year, the process with OPI is that they open up a portal called Mayfairs, and I have to go in and enter all of our last year's numbers, and it's a series of uploads. And so when you're looking at this report right here, this is with the trustees' financial summary. It's a summary of everything we did in each fund. You know, the gross summaries, you know, whether it's what our ending balance, line 01 should match number 52, which is what we have cash in the bank or cash at the county. So the number, or line 53 includes any outstanding liabilities that we have, such as property taxes that haven't been collected or anything like that, or assets and liabilities. So anyway, line 52 is where we ended in each fund for the year. So that's a series, that's actually the longer series of, the longer part of this process is that this upload can take multiple tries to get it to upload, and like some of the accounting numbers have to be, instead of 112 for the object code for teachers, it has to go to 1XX. So sometimes you just have to kind of guess how OPI wants it, because they want some things very exact how you put it in, and then other things roll up. So like our salaries for our teachers and our salaries for our paras, and all roll up into 1XX. And so it's just kind of, you have to play with it a little bit. And so that is the process there. And that seems really simplified, but it actually took a very long time because I have to figure out all the deferred taxes, and I have to, when the auditor goes and makes changes, like in May, I had to do the auditor adjustments, but I had to go back into 625 to make those adjustments. It messes up where OPI thinks we should start the year. So then I have to make adjustments for that. It's just kind of a.
So Maggie, what if this house over at 300 wherever Drive, does not pay taxes for this year or the next year, or does the school ever recoup that money, or how does that happen?
Yeah, so that is, so like, if you look at the very first Fund 1, we have $60,695.32 in people in real estate and personal property that have not paid their taxes. The next line, 03, are people who are arguing about their taxes. So that's why that 641 becomes 703, because 641 is what you actually have in the bank, but 703 is what the county says eventually you'll get. So, but we don't base anything off of that until it's actually here. But I have to it's a big spreadsheet that I have to do to keep track of what those numbers are, and I have to match them with the county, so. And I have to do that for every fund that, that has it, which is the general fund, transportation, bus, depreciation, tuition fund, adult education, technology, flex fund, debt service, and our building reserve. So those are the ones that have to keep track of that. And then, like, if you were to look at, Fund 15, which is on the second page, you'll see that there's 153,000 that's due from other governments. So like 70 some of that is title money that I didn't receive yet. I put cash request in May, and that just got approved this week. I put a cash request, my final cash request after the teachers got paid in June. Haven't heard, it's all submitted, but I haven't heard. It took literally from the end of May till this week to get that one request. So there's outstanding, that's what those numbers are, is that this is money that they say that we, is still coming to us. And if you look further down that line, like on line 25, there's a $65,000, and that actually dates back from, I had it in my notes. Part of that is money that we actually owe Yellowstone Boys and Girls Ranch, that we do our CSCT match for services through the end of June. And so, but we haven't gotten the bill from them yet, so we can't pay it, but we have to record it that we owe that to them. And then there's another 40,000, that's something else that I can't remember offhand right now. So I have to make sure that all of those are in our books so that they know that we owe it.
Not to divert you, but so we had that IRS
Yes,
issue with the
yes,
submission of the W-2s.
that's the other part.
That's the other part.
That's the other part, thank you.
I bet it's that.
Yeah, because, and so I don't know if you guys have ever, I have a binder that I literally, cause like this TFS is 13 steps long. And I have a binder that I put what I do every single step in there. So I started that last year and I have it again this year. And so like in there, I'll print that page and I'll put the notes on it and any documentation needed for any changes or anything. And that is, that's exactly, I had to retrace it back because when it first came on the books, it was like 90,000. And then the auditor did an adjustment. The auditor, I think, the first year I was here, but she did it in the books that were prior to me. Like I think when Masville did the audit adjustments that right before I got here, she had them go in and adjust off part of it. So that's exactly what that is. I couldn't remember, but I have really thorough notes in case I get hit by a bus. Like, so that somebody else isn't trying to figure out where
Or win the lottery.
or win the lottery.
That's a better route. So do we have any update on that, or is that?
Still working with Calva.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because according to what I've been told, you guys did Meg, you weren't here, but everything was done
Well, and like.
on time and correctly, and they have. Yeah.
We have copies of, from their own system with a timestamp within, and both Mark Fessler and Shannon have taken copies down to the IRS and they're like, yeah, that looks right. But they're still saying that we didn't turn it in on time.
But it's in their system, turned it on.
It literally, it's a screenshot of their system with a timestamp. So. But yes, thank you. That's exactly what that was. So we need to approve the TFS in order to then submit it to OPI. And which then allows us to move on to the budgets.
Can we do this in one motion or do you?
I think, yeah, I think we can. So, what I did was I made a copy of all but the front page of the signature page for you guys to have on hand. But this is the page that really matters here. So you'll see what our adopted budget is for each fund on the left-hand side. And then, you'll see where our reserves, what I'm putting into reserves or what we're putting into reserves. And the next column shows you what you can put into reserves. And the basically the darn middle column tells you exactly what's in there. Now, I know the general fund has 102 or has 10.02%. It's because we're allowed to put our protested tax amount in there. And what that does is it allows us to, yeah, it's a placeholder for it. And then by doing that, then I reappropriate, I didn't reappropriate anything in the general fund. So I used up, between our transfer to the, interlocal, we had it to $978.88, after our reserves were met. So that's why that's a little different, but I saved as much as I could in every other one that's allowed. So then for funds like 11, which is the bus depreciation, 17, which is adult education, 28, which is technology, 23, which is, or 29, which is flexibility, which right that now is housing our advanced grant opportunity grant, and the building reserve. It looks like we're reappropriating a lot of money, but what that does is those specific funds, if we were to say, okay, we want to fill reserves there, we would have to, if we wanted to use those funds, would have to go in and do a budget amendment. And then our actual, because our budget, adopted budget would be less those amount that shows in the reappropriation. So for example, like our building reserve would be 136,000 for our adopted budget. And in order to use anything beyond that, we'd have to do a budget amendment, which those are a lot because we have to advertise it and board approval and all those things. So what OPI said is we don't do it, we don't reserve it, but it comes back into the fund. So it raises our adopted budget to 237. And so now we have a 237 that we can use. Our small payment that we'll get from the state is that $92,499.30. And the county will give us $42,720.70. So those were for those funds. And then for tuition, you can never carry anything over because that's part of the premise of it. And then the same in retirement, you can do a reserve and but the retirement is interesting because it's a countywide, you just tell them what you need. So there's a spreadsheet I do with all of our employees that we have for this next year. And this is what we need for our TRS and all the things that go into retirement. Now, one of the things, and actually, if you look on the handout I gave you, one of the things to note, and one of the things that took so long with OPI releasing it because they were late on their release date for Mayfairs to open up, is that House Bill 156, which replaced the school district base levy with a countywide base levy, which is very similar to the retirement fund. And so basically, instead of everything just coming from the state, it's now, and that we can no longer at this point pinpoint what our budget, our general fund budget is going to do to our taxpayers, because it has to wait till what everybody turns their budgets in the countywide, and then the mills get what it costs everybody. So what I can do, so like if you were to look, I mean, the first couple of pages of this handout are just, I just want to point out where our A and B went or is right now. And these are the numbers from OPI. And then on the second page of the is our tax valuation number, and that went up 11% from the previous year. And then this third page is kind of the snapshot of before I was able to pinpoint, and it was easier to pinpoint like I had lines with different color lines for each fund, but basically what we care about is the general fund and all other funds to a point. And so you can see from this chart that the general fund continues to grow, but actually kind of proportionately, our other funds were staying fairly, we're just meeting we're meeting our growth needs, for more transportation, for more retirement. And so there's a little in the center there, it just kind of a little synopsis of our other funds over since fiscal year 19 have increased from 1.77 million to 2.65 million. But with the largest being our retirement needs have grown, that year was 588,000 and this year it's 885,000. And what that literally, I go through everybody's salary and find out what their unemployment, their TRS and PRS, and then I can't remember and then FICA. And I have a spreadsheet that, I put in their salary and I have a spreadsheet that has it all calculated. And then I have to turn that into the county and I say, this is what we need to fulfill that account. Technology had a big jump because of the levy. And then building reserves has increased over time. And part of that is the small, that 92,000 actually used to be a match of what the county gave us. But the legislation decided that wasn't enough. And so they did that. They're now doing 92,000 instead of matching what the county does. But I did list what proposed budgets are down below, just so you have the information. And then, so it's really hard, and trust me, I've had several conversations with people. It's really hard, because like last year I could say, well, these are what our mills are going to be. And we don't know what our mills are going to be. And so, I couldn't just use the same sheets necessarily, because like, if you look at it, it would have said, our general fund last year was 5367. Well, the only thing I know about is the 2915. And the 2915 is basically anything that's specific to West Valley, any levy, any revenue that we receive that's specific to us, that, any voted, anything from years past, whatever. That's what that amount is. As far as the base, nobody knows, and everybody's in the same boat. So I've had conversation with OPI. I've had conversations with MASBO, like, how do I explain this to people? And we won't know until, what OPI told me today is that we won't know until the county gets their reports out in October. How many mills it will take our taxpayers to fulfill the balance of what we need to, what OPI says we can do. So.
The building reserve fund, maybe? Was that voted in? Is that the voted in building reserve? Or
No, we don't have a voted.
So we don't have.
No, this is all permissive levy. Okay. Yep. So, and like
that's based upon number of students. What drives that number?
Yep. Students. Yep. It on the general fund, but on the OPI general fund worksheet, you plug your numbers in, and then it spits out what's based on your A and B, what you can do and what your county can do or should do.
So this is our total mills though here, so it's ultimately actually gone down from 18 to now.
Well, that's what I'm saying is we won't know what our total mills are.
But just your history. It looks like they've gone down.
Right, but you have to keep in mind though that mills are that they can be more expensive at more different times.
When you have taxable valuation is
Yeah.
more than doubled, so.
Right.
It increased, and that's what I was gonna get at.
Charging the same.
Yeah.
Right.
not
That's
the
increasing.
the revenues that we're charging haven't increased at that pace.
Right.
Because of the value, that taxable value that's in the district now.
Right.
Yeah.
So that 75 that's there is missing all of the, like missing $5 million worth of funding that we just don't know about, what those mills are gonna cost us.
Nonetheless, it's a good trend for everybody. The next page shows the prior problems that we have.
Yeah, a little dip in
Yes, they
the
do.
rapidly.
Those are the years I was just talking about.
Yes, it is. And then I just included last year's page so that you could see where it was real easy to just see exactly what our mills were last year. And so I included that all in there.
I do think it's, commendable that everybody's, got the financial situation back on track. Maggie, you're doing a great job. Richard, everybody's doing a great job. So I mean, that was a stressful time and it was a concerning time and we're back on track. And I think we're doing as good as any school in the state from a financial perspective right now.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
thank
think
you.
they use it.
Yeah.
I think-
Yeah, we've come a long way.
You stop already?
So the A and B, the student count, is that what we have locked in right now, that 824 for next year, or is that kind of a
No,
guess?
that's OPI's 3-year average.
Oh,
That
okay, okay.
includes
You're
multiple
right, yeah.
numbers and it includes our partial that we get for our Flathead special education co-op kids and then this year we'll actually pick up next year we'll get to count our activities kids from last year, a quarter of those kids, and so it's an average of out of district, I should say, or no, in district, homeschooled and private school kids.
So if they come in to play football, we get to chart, they get a quarter A and B.
We get it a quarter A and B from.
Okay.
So yes, it
That's
was
pretty good,
an
yeah.
ordeal for me to keep on that,
Yeah,
which,
as long as we can get coaches for them.
Yeah. I'll have to
And then
put some
like that-
flyers out.
The FY 26 at
I don't know.
828, is that where we ended the year? Is that also just an average, a 3-year average? On A and B?
That 828 is a 3-year. You
It's
get
a
to use
3-year.
the higher. You get to
Okay.
use the higher of what your 3-year average or that particular, like if you have a year that has more, then you get to use that year. You use whatever it's the higher. And OPI just says this is your, this is higher for you.
Mhm. So they give you the benefit of the doubt
Mhm,
for the A and Bs, yeah.
mhm. I will tell you that I think my predecessor was really into charts and stuff, and I'm not. I'm a spreadsheet person. Which I know feeds charts, but this is not my fun world.
Ooh, I like it.
I like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you put this together or is this like a?
So Masville puts out the majority of these. And so I used these sheets last year, some of them. And then I had to work on the historical analysis one that I wanted something simpler because the one line showed all of the like just different colored squiggly lines and I just was not into that. And so, but then I asked my friend Chat to help me, and that would be Chat GPT. I asked me to point out some of the key items that I think you guys needed to know about, where the new rule, the new House Bill 156, so. But other than that, I think it's good. I think we're good to go.
So on the budget report on page 4, you have the quality educator amount. So does that include the STARS Act and something else in there?
Which line?
The line C of part 5.
Yes, that includes stars.
Okay. And that's still around 300,000?
Well, I think the QEC was on right around 100 prior to, or less than 100 prior to
Prior.
stars. So I feel like
Stars.
stars almost got added 400.
400, okay.
Really helped us.
Yeah, yeah, I thought it was like 300.
Yeah, maybe it was.
It's good to see that it's
Yeah,
there or higher. That's
right.
great.
And because we negotiated middle of what we needed, we qualified again this year. So
That was big time because we couldn't have done what we did without that stars.
Mhm.
Big deal for Montana teachers.
It
It was.
excellent for them.
With budgets moving forward, Maggie, any concerns or like putting you on the spot a little bit, but I mean, when you build those budgets a little
Yeah,
bit. I mean, like
Marcus
Marcus's
always
budget is not-
concerns me because he's always asking for money.
I'm sure.
I literally had I did actually tell Richard that he had to say no to Marcus for a little while because right now we have no money coming in. And it really bothers me to see those funds in the negative. So yes, we know the money's coming in, but before we put in our big, Chromebook order, I'd like to get a few months of money coming in first, because that account has, I mean, what did I say? It ended up with like $5,000 in there or $3,000 or something. So we wanna just hold off on a little bit just to get some income. I don't think I have any concerns at this point. I've been, working with Tanya on, I think that my predecessor was supposed to start putting money away for curriculum, and so we're behind a year on that. We just finished year 2. It was about 100 and some a year for future curriculum, was supposed to start the year prior to me, and that did not happen. So I've been working with Tanya and I'm making sure that happens. So like I said, that part of that 453, 140 of that is for future curriculum. And so my goal is just to hone in on making sure that we're staying within what we have laid out so far and seeing if there's anything else we can add to it. I do know that, building is huge right now. Making sure that we do have some funds to take care of that stuff and to work on it.
And when will the teachers renegotiate? When is that due?
Funny that you asked, because we were gonna ask if you wanted to be on that. That's gonna be this
I'm gonna
year.
be out of town.
I didn't say when.
Okay.
I didn't say when. It'll be this year. We'll start in January, right? We usually get a notice from the teachers in
Yeah.
January that because this is the end of this year's.
And we finished, how many years were they under? Was it
Two.
Two.
We had a 2-year contract, yeah, so.
We can do that again.
I'll make a motion to approve the school year 25 TFS and the school year 26 budget.
I'll second.
Oh, sorry, it's the 26 TFS and the 27 budget.
Oops, that wasn't changed on this.
Okay, so change that to
Oh, yeah, that was me.
the 26 TFS. and
Yes.
25 budget,
27 budget.
27 budget.
Yeah. That was me. Oh,
I'll second.
Okay, is there any further discussion?
I just want to say Maggie's done an incredible job. I mean, it's just amazing with the amount of work she's done.
I can't imagine really that the state expects anybody to do what we expect Maggie to do.
I
It's
would never
just
say it to her face.
really, somebody's sitting in offices in Helen, it's just making all this stuff up and dumping it right on to our school secretaries. And it just seems overwhelming that they should do that. I just appreciate so much that
well, thank you. And
that you take it on.
well, and I want to say that I feel like OPI, the financial side of OPI really does their best, because what they do is what gets passed in legislation. Cause that's often the case is things get passed in legislation without a plan of how to make it work. And then OPI has to figure out how to make it work, and then they have to teach us how to make it work, so. Like I said, I mean, OPI has been great, is help, and so is MASBO, and I just keep lots and lots of notes. And every year is a little bit different, so things I did last year, cause last year I actually felt that it was an easier time. First year I almost quit, but last year I had a much easier time doing it, but there were enough changes this year. And then, of course, one of the audit findings that we had was that we needed to balance our Fund 115, which is our miscellaneous. And part of that was cleaning up some orphan projects and that had negatives and positives. And I worked with the guidance of the auditor how to do this, but it's really messed up our TFS because there would be things where I had to take revenue from one. Well, it's like you can't have a negative revenue. So I'd have to change it to an expenditure. But then I had to flop things back and forth both ways. Like you can't have, it was kind of a nightmare. But now that though it should be cleaned up and that finding should be cleaned up. So those are just
thank
things
you.
we're working through.
Thank you, Maggie. Steep learning curve too, I know.
Great.
But I like it. It's very challenging. So.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Okay. I think we're
All done. Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
grab some cherries before you go.
Sophia brought them.
Courtesy of Sophia, they're fresh off the tree this morning.
She said her husband picked them this morning.
Yes.
Do we need a vote on adjournment?
Oh, I don't even think so.
No, you can just,
Legally, you don't have to.
And technically, you don't even have.
it's kind of fun for one.